Okay, little red lights on, so we're filming. It's morning, so I'm not going to be that loud, but this is drinking and drugging, and this is not a scolding. So everybody relax. I drank for years in the bars and in the clubs, and I got in fights, and thanks to a little trick that somebody showed me when I was fairly young, I actually did pretty well. This is for the crowd that's worried about bar fighting. Look, you're young, you're looking to get laid. That's what it comes down to. And possibly even more than get laid. You may be looking for, the woman of your dreams or the man of your dreams if you're a female. There's a few things to cover, so I'm just going to dive into one. If you're drinking more than 3 drinks a night, 3 days a week, you should probably train 1 day a week with those 3 drinks in you. Yeah, I know. That's not what you were expecting. If you're drinking, more than a 6-pack a night, more than 3 days a week, you should definitely train 1 day a week with that 6-pack in you. And what do I mean by that? I mean, work the focus mitts, try to put in the good hour with that 6-pack in your hand, another beer or 2 if you need them. Try to train at your regular level of intake at least 1 night a week. And why? Well, this is going to come as a shock, but the shit that you do in the gym, all the training, that doesn't translate well to your drunken mind. Honestly, I've known people who smoke weed every day and drink every day. And for a couple of years, I was one of them back during my bar days. Not the weed. I can't stand this stuff. It should be legal, but I can't stand the stuff. It makes me paranoid, which, yeah, like that needs to happen. I'm already there. Anyhow, back to the whole training 1 day a week drunk thing, or, however in the bag you get. If you're drinking, 6 drinks a night at the bar and training, 2 hours a day at the gym, and you wonder why you just got your ass kicked, well, part of that is that your situational awareness sucked because you were drunk. Your hand-eye coordination sucked because you were drunk and you didn't train that way. And no, I'm not talking about drunken kung fu. Yeah. Which, funny, but wrong. I'm talking about actually just drinking and training whatever you train, be it Muay Thai or MMA or, whatever it is. And if you have a partner in crime, and you probably do if you're hitting the clubs, you guys should trade off days. Or if you're hitting, for the more rednecks in my crowd, if you're hitting the bars, if you're hitting the bars and the clubs, that's where you're probably going to get in your fights. And you need to train with some alcohol in you. If we were talking about ring fighters, I would tell you to just lay off the shit entirely. It's not good for you. It has so many negative health consequences, and it's going to downplay your ability in the ring on a significant level, pretty much regardless of how high you are up there. You could be bass rooting, drinking And if Bassrutten drank 7 days a week, he probably wouldn't be Bassrutten. Gabriel Varga, there's some others. If you're talking about, if you're thinking about fighting professionally, then, alcohol, cigarettes, pot, pretty much all the, fun stuff is stuff you've got to give up. But if you're talking about just training for, real fighting or street or bar fighting, then you should train at least 1 day a week, at least as hammered as you get on a regular basis. If you're going out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, then Monday or Tuesday you should be getting just as drunk as you did Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and hitting the bag, hitting the focus mitts, hitting the kicking pads, trying to do as much as you possibly can, and don't be shocked if you can't do an hour. Don't be shocked if you can't do a half an hour. Your targeting is going to be off. The muscle is, your power is going to be off. You're going to be hitting a lot less powerfully than you do when you're sober. There's a lot of things that you have to get used to if you're going to be, worried about fighting when you're drinking. I've done this myself. It saved my ass on more than one occasion. Situational awareness, a good pre-fight, all that other stuff is all well and good, and it's important as all hell. But, it is what it is. Your training's going to fail if you haven't put in some time with alcohol or drugs in you, if you're doing drugs and alcohol all the time. Or at least, on a regular basis. Okay, there's that. But the girls in the crowd, and the boys in the crowd for that matter, around 14 or 15, you probably should get good and blindingly drunk at least once. With someone of the same sex, and with someone, you believe you could trust. Why the same sex? Because, you don't want to get drunk raped. You don't want to get gang banged. Why 14 or 15? Because that's when people start partying. You want to get good and solidly drunk at least once with someone you trust. And the why for that is so that you can start to learn your limitations. People get drunk raped because they didn't know how much alcohol they could handle. They drank far more than they could hold. You want to learn your limitations as young as you possibly can. I wish I had, and I can think of a dozen girls I know off the top of my head that wish they had. And get drunk. If once doesn't do the trick, get drunk 2-3 times. Find out what your limits are. Before you're out partying with boys, before you're out, having to worry about whether or not somebody's going to put a cock in you. Because, let's face it, if you're so blotto that you can't stand, you can't even remember your own name, somebody's probably going to fuck you. And, from what I know from female friends that it's happened to, that just sucks. That just sucks in a big way. So there's that. Okay, so that's get drunk, train stoned. Now this was a personal aside, but I think all drugs should be legal and all drugs should be sold in stores. So there's quality control, so that we don't have fentanyl out there killing